Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited to have you all. Welcome. For those of you, welcome back. If you were in our previous session with CASA, for those of you who are just arriving, welcome to the Honors College session at USF. We're so excited to have you all. My name is Candace Adams. I'm the Associate Director for Access and Inclusion here at the University of San Francisco. And we're going to, without further ado, just have this amazing Honors College presentation for you all to get your questions answered, hopefully. And I'm pretty sure Monica will do a great job as far as being able to answer all your questions for you. Before we get started, I do want to kind of give you some ground rules as far as please having your mics muted throughout the presentation. Please, you're more than welcome to keep your video on, but you're not required. You can turn off your video if you would like. Another favor I do have to ask from you all is if you actually go to participants down at the bottom of your screen, if you can change your username to your first and last name, that will actually help us be able to mark you as attended in the session. That'll be greatly appreciated. And throughout the presentation, if any questions you have, please feel free to enter it in the chat box. And again, I'll kind of go through the questions towards the end so Monica can answer them for you. But without further ado, Monica Debaldo is a program manager for the Honors College. She oversees a large portion of the Honors College program, from student advising to admissions to special events planning. Monica has held this position for 2.5 years, which is about the same time Honors College has been in existence at USF. But without further ado, I'm going to let Monica tell you more about the Honors College here at USF. Thank you so much. Monica?
Thanks, Candace. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's great to virtually see you all. I'm glad we could all be on this call together. Thank you for attending this session. As Candace said, my name is Monica Doblado. I'm the program manager, and I'm here to tell you what is the Honors College. So I always like to give a brief overview of what the Honors College is at USF, and we at USF see the Honors College as a hub for all honors programming at USF. We serve undergraduates who are receiving our J. Paul Getty Scholarship and other merit-based award scholarships. We work closely with programs like the St. Ignatius Institute, which is a living learning community on campus. We work closely in collaboration with BASE and the Black Scholars Program. And we also work with major departments that have honors tracks within their majors. And our goal is to give our undergraduate students who are looking for a stimulating, intellectually challenging academic experience at USF. So that's a very brief overview. I will get into some details. So the top 5 facts about the Honors College is students can satisfy their core curriculum requirements at an honors level. So this is a question I get a lot. Like, what kind of classes are the Honors College offering? Is it a separate school? Is it a major? Is it a minor? The answer is our classes in our curriculum are core classes, the classes that you would have to take at USF to satisfy requirements for graduation. It's mostly our liberal arts education. Some other universities call the core curriculum their general ed or GE classes, but at USF we call it the core curriculum. So that's the first fact. You can satisfy parts of the core curriculum at an honors level in the Honors College curriculum. The second fact is you'll take innovative and interdisciplinary elective courses. So in a little while, a few slides later, I'll show you some of our seminars that are really interesting and really awesome that you can take for 2 units. And there's a lot of hands-on learning and experiential learning that goes on in those courses. So again, I'll touch on those again, but that's a huge highlight and a huge fact of the Honors College. The third fact is all majors and minors are welcome to join. I have students currently in the nursing program, all the way to physics, all the way to the fine arts program and biology, pre-med students. All majors and minors are welcome to join the Honors College. We don't discriminate just because of your major or your minor. We want all of our undergraduate students to have the opportunity to be in the Honors College if they wish. Another fact, my fourth fact, is you'll meet distinguished artists, scholars, and experts through the Honors College. So we do a lot of event programming where we're bringing experts from different industry fields, writers, different visiting professors to the Honors College to interact with our students directly. And I'll talk more about who we've brought and who we're planning to bring to the Honors College in the future. And last but not least, the Honors College encourages its students to study abroad, whether that be a winter break immersion trip, a spring break immersion trip, a summer break immersion trip, or a full semester or a full academic year. We want our students to be well-rounded global citizens of the 21st century and to take what they've learned inside our classrooms and go beyond the USF walls. So as I mentioned before, our classes in the Honors College are core classes. So which ones could you take if you were enrolled in our curriculum? And as you'll see on the screen here, it's mostly the humanities subjects. So writing, public speaking, literature, history, philosophy, theology, ethics. We've added social science, even though that's not technically a humanities subject. And we also have the visual and performing arts. So our students are fulfilling these requirements with us in the Honors College, and it's still being counted towards graduation. So I just wanted to give a quick overview of some of the subjects that we offer. And we offer these subjects in what we call the global humanities. So we're really trying to incorporate various cultural viewpoints, perspectives. So you might have a philosophy class that is steeped in Asian philosophy, and your theology class might be in Islamic studies. These are just very brief examples, but it's to really educate and open our students' eyes in these subjects with that global perspective. Speaking of our classes, I just wanted to give a quick preview of what we're offering in fall 2020. So if you join us, which I hope you will in fall, these are some of the titles you'll have to choose from. I've got a philosophy class called Global Humanities. I have a visual and performing arts class that's coming on board for the first time called Opera and Society, a literature class, Romance, Revolution, and Exile, a global food history class. Our rhetoric and composition classes are new to our program. We launched them this past fall, and those are called Rhetoric Across Borders. And then, as I mentioned earlier, those interdisciplinary, innovative elective courses, we offer 2-unit seminars, which you'll see these last 3 bullet points on the screen. These are a sample of those. We call them forum classes. And forum classes don't have any core credit associated with them. They are just pure elective credit. They still count towards your final graduation credit count, but they're really, really interesting and fun classes because the professors that are teaching them are able to collaborate with professors outside of their area. Sometimes you might have a philosophy professor collaborating with a design professor to talk about the impact of capitalism on the workforce. So you'll get the philosophy side and then you'll get the artistic design side all in one class. The 3 that I've mentioned on this slide, emotional intelligence, that's actually a class where you take the Clifton Strengths test and the professor kind of coaches students throughout the semester based on the results of that test. So this, again, is just a small sampling I wanted to share with you all so that you can get a taste of what kind of classes the Honors College is offering. A question I receive a lot from our prospective students is, what are the benefits of being in the Honors College? Well, starting in the fall, once you've arrived to the Honors College, you will receive priority registration starting every semester. So that means you register about 2 days before the rest of the population at USF is able to register. So that's pretty exciting for students who are in majors where if they're freshmen and they're trying to get a class, the seniors get to register first. And so maybe there's not spots left in their courses. So that's a big benefit to the Honors College. all of our classes are capped at 20 students. USF does a great job of offering amazing classes in general, and especially, at a smaller level. We're not a big state school where there's, 100 people in a classroom. So USF already does an awesome job about that. But in the Honors College, we've really we've shrinked the cap to be 20 students per class, allowing a lot more engagement from you, the students, and also from the professor, who's able to adapt the class to various learning styles, to incorporate more field trips or more hands-on projects. I also get asked a lot, well, what's the benefit for me, way in the future as a senior? Why join the Honors College? And, are there any benefits at graduation? And the answer is yes. If you finish our 30-unit curriculum, again, mostly comprised of those core classes I previewed earlier, you'll receive a line on your academic transcript that says you were an Honors College scholar and you completed our honors curriculum. And so that line would appear on your transcript for any employer or graduate school who would, be looking at those transcripts, would be able to see that. And then at graduation, of course, you'll be listed in our graduation program under the Honors College section. So that's the third benefit. The fourth benefit I have listed here is, again, those experiential learning opportunities through field work, hands-on assignments on campus or in the community. We are really wanting to bank on the fact that we're in such a beautiful part of the world, San Francisco, and there's so many resources and ways to be connected to our community, not just in USF, but outside of USF. So our professors, for example, before the closure this semester, before we had to go online, a few of our professors were taking students to one of our art museums here in the city, the D. Young. And so they were able to go during class time and see some really interesting and cool exhibits at this museum. So again, it's not just about being lectured at, taking classes and being taught and you're just sitting there absorbing information. We want you to be hands-on and engaged in the Honors College. And then last, this is a question I receive a lot. Is there a tuition difference? Is it a different major? Is it a different minor? Why is it called an honors college? So there's no tuition difference. All the credit you earn in the Honors College is counting towards graduation, is showing up on all of your degree evaluations where we track your progress as you go. The reason why we call ourselves an honors college is we want to be a 4-year experience for students rather than a program where in some schools an honors program is just maybe 4 semesters worth of classes and you take classes with your classmates and you get a certificate and you're done. But in the Honors College, we're really trying to build out a 4-year experience where we start with you in freshman year and we're with you all the way till senior year. But again, back to the benefit and what I have listed on the screen, there is no tuition difference. And all the credit is kept at USF, is earned towards USF. And even if you got started in the Honors College and you decided to leave, there are no negative impacts on your transcript for withdrawing. There's no negative consequences for withdrawing if you get started or you start to develop a plan for your graduation timeline. You can't go wrong. You can give it a shot and decide it's not for you, and there's no negative impact on you. All right, so earlier I mentioned Honors College students have the opportunity to meet distinguished visiting guests that we bring to the Honors College. So on this slide, I have several guests that we have brought to the Honors College already, or we are planning to bring. I've got 3 writers on the page. Mohsen Hamid is in the top left corner. Below him is Aminata Forna, and then all the way to the right is Margaret Atwood. Margaret Atwood was actually supposed to come to USF yesterday for a big event and to meet our students, but due to COVID-19, we had to postpone her visit. So hopefully all of you on this call, and you'll be with us at USF in the fall, and hopefully you'll get to experience when we bring Margaret Atwood to campus sometime in the next academic year. So other people on this page, there's a famous poet, Lee Young Lee. He's the third picture on the top. We have an industry expert, Ann Mei Chang. She came to campus and talked about the lean in, move forward movement in various business sectors. And then the second picture, both on the top row and on the bottom row, were Zen leaders that came to our campus and co-taught with one of our professors on Zen and leadership and Zen and suffering. So this is just to give you, again, a taste of who we've brought to campus and how they've interacted with our students. Mostly they come to our classes, our classrooms, and they'll do a guest lecture on that smaller level, and then they'll do a big campus-wide event for us so that we can share with the rest of the USF community. The last picture that I haven't mentioned, the third one on the last row, is Dr. Vandana Shiva. She's an environmental activist scholar, and she came to our campus last fall to visit our classes and meet with our students and give a big lecture. So we're still building the pipeline for these guests, but it's really exciting, and we just want you as Honors College students to have that exposure and to get to know some of these famous people, or maybe you've never heard of them before, but to get to know them and understand how they got their start and how they got to be where they are today. So earlier I mentioned that we really want our students to explore study abroad opportunities. You may have already noticed, but USF has an amazing catalog of destinations for study abroad options. And I encourage all of you to look through that catalog more closely. That can be found under our Center for Global Education. But to help our students get started thinking about studying abroad early, we developed the Honors College Global Jumpstart program. And this is a program where at the end of the spring semester, we take rising sophomores. So picture yourselves this time next year, you will be a rising sophomore getting ready to finish your freshman year. And we take students for 2 weeks. Professors lead a 2-week course and trip to another country that has a theme that's approachable for anyone. It's not specific to any majors or minors. And you all earn 2 units of elective credit towards the Honors College, and again, towards your graduation credit count from USF. And you get to spend 2 weeks in another country with your classmates, learning about the location you're visiting, while also exploring a theme or a topic that professor who's leading your trip has some expertise in. We keep it purposefully, we keep it under $5,000 because we know that summer tuition is not covered under financial aid packages. So we try very hard to keep costs as low as we can. So these trips have never been more than $5,000, and that includes tuition and the program fees that it takes to run these programs. So that would include lodging, classroom time, and then we also give generous scholarships. We make sure that the costs are offset a little bit if we can. We will have more info on this in September, so hopefully when you're at USF in the fall, you'll attend one of these info sessions and learn more about the application for this program. But again, to give you a brief taste of the Global Jumpstart program, in May of 2019, we offered 3 trips, one to Thailand, one to Budapest, Hungary, and one to Cali, Colombia. And then this year, unfortunately, our trips were canceled, but we offered 3 new locations for students, and they were New Zealand, South Korea, and London. So we're hopeful that we will have an exciting relaunch of the Global Jumpstart program next May for all of you to participate in. Okay, so some of you on this call are possibly wondering, how do you join the Honors College if you did not receive an invitation to apply. And invitations were sent earlier this semester between January and March. And for those of you that were invited or accepted into the Honors College, there will be more follow-up in May after you've made that deposit with USF. If you didn't receive an invitation, don't worry. I don't want you to be discouraged. If you want to join the Honors College, you will have the opportunity to do so by applying within the first 2 semesters you'll have at USF. Our application opens every semester. So in the fall, it'll open in September, excuse me, and in January, for the spring semester, it'll open in January. So we have opportunities for you to take the, excuse me, take the opportunity to join the Honors College. Ooh, one second. All right. Sorry, guys. That is the end of my formal presentation, and I am going to stop sharing my screen and open it up to questions.
Thank you so much. We do have a lot of questions to get through, and I apologize in advance if we can't get to all of them, but I would I'm trying to filter through them as much as possible. So the first question that we have is, can you do a double major or a major and minor while being in the Honors College?
Ooh, that's a good question. I do have maybe a handful of students who are doing that. It's kind of hard to do a double major. It's not impossible, but we would just have to carefully look at all your requirements. And this is one benefit that I completely forgot to mention to you all, is that you'll receive close mentorship and advising on the Honors College side. Again, USF does a great job of this university-wide. You'll have a major advisor. You'll probably have a minor advisor if you have a minor. And then some of you have already heard from CASA, our Center for Academic Success, and Achievement, I think, and Achievement, whatever their acronym is. They will also assign you an advisor for a CASA coach. So you'll receive extensive resources for advising. But I won't say that it's impossible, but I will say that it's tough, and we will just have to look very, very closely at all that's required.
Thank you. So the next question is kind of summing up a few questions all in one. But what are some of the popular majors in the Honors College, especially thinking about the workload for some majors? So what would you say is the common majors within the Honors College? And is it doable?
So I have a ton of biology students in the Honors College, and they sometimes take a look at the Honors College and say, there's no way I can do this, because biology is 65 units, it's got labs, it's intense. But Honors College aside, students still need to take the core curriculum. And so the Honors College can work for so many students across so many majors because you still have to take core classes. We're just asking you to take them in the Honors College. So you're usually always doing 2 requirements at once. You're checking the list off for the Honors College, but you're also earning that university core curriculum credit. So bio is a big one. I've got performing arts and social justice majors. I've got Spanish studies majors. I mentioned earlier, nursing majors. That's another common myth. A lot of nursing students don't think that they can do the Honors College, but we have teamed up with the School of Nursing and Health Professions faculty to devise a 4-year plan for our nursing majors so that they can be included. I've got students from the School of Management in business, finance, marketing, international business. International business is a big major with a lot of units, but I have students who are fulfilling the Honors College curriculum and participating in the Honors College.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My next question is, students want to know you kind of talked about the benefits of being in the Honors College. Are there any additional scholarship opportunities that they may have?
Great question. So some students were invited or already applied to the J. Paul Getty Scholarship, and that's awarded to a cohort of 20 students every year of incoming students. So we're in the process of finishing up that scholarship round as we speak. But good news is if you didn't apply to the Getty Scholarship, or if you weren't awarded it, or you joined the Honors College after your first semester, the Honors College does set aside some funding for those of you that did not receive the Getty Scholarship, and will make it available for you to apply. Big disclosure is that the Honors College does not offer any scholarships that cover room and board or tuition. All of our scholarships or funding opportunities are for extracurricular activities, such as study abroad, applying for funding to be paid out for an internship that may not be a paid internship, pairing you with research assistantships on campus with our faculty. So our funding is steeped in those activities, not tuition and room and board scholarships.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another question that we have is for transfer students. Let's say, for instance, they took the course, one of the core requirement courses at another school. Will that be able to transfer and satisfy their requirement for the Honors College?
Great question. So for the Honors College, we would be limited to taking a certain number of units. It's usually the rule is 4 for transfer students, but we are in the midst of making a pathway for transfer students so that they could still participate in the Honors College, just maybe not with the full curriculum that our first year incoming students are willing to participate in. So it depends case by case on the transfer student, but they're always welcome to apply and to check in with us to see if it's doable. But unfortunately, I don't, of course, the credit will transfer to USF, but in the Honors College, we would probably only be able to accept at max 4 units because we want our students to take our classes.
Okay, sounds good. And then, so I'm getting a lot of questions about the rigor. Like, could you compare it to as a little bit, higher than the AP courses in high school, or, extremely more rigorous than that? How would you describe it if you were to describe it in words?
Love this question. I love it. Okay. So this, I think the rigor is kind of a mixed bag. So I've got students who told me this is easier than any AP or high school honors class I've taken, or easier than IB. I've heard from students that say, this is kind of just what I expected. Like, this is at my level. I've got students that say, yeah, there's more reading in the Honors College classes, but it's not killer. And then I've got students who are very meticulous and careful about their schedule planning, who know that, they can only have one Honors College class on their schedule at a time because they know that that's what they need to stay balanced. But our goal in the Honors College is really not to make it rigorous to the point of stress and how to be lethal or unhealthy or toxic. That's really not our goal at all. Our goal is to have it be more engaging and stimulating, and we're trying to create a culture of inquiry. And we really encourage our students, even if they've come in with some AP credit that has knocked out some of the core requirements at USF, we still encourage them that, if you're a bio major, but you really like history on the side, and you already walked in with AP history credit that waived the history core class that you would need at USF, we still encourage you to take one of our history classes because maybe it speaks to something you're really interested in. So I would say that they are a healthy challenge, but by no means are they meant to stress you out. We all know that you're high achieving students, you're hungry for knowledge. And so that's what our rigor tries to speak to, not so much I remember that AP life very well. And I can say from talking with students, it's definitely not what you would experience in the AP class.
Thank you. Kind of following the rigor, some students want to know, is it doable, kind of balancing their academics of the rigor being in the Honors College, but also holding a part-time job? Is that pretty common with students in the Honors College?
Yeah, that's very common. I have several students who are working part-time, whether it's on campus or off campus, and they're taking their semester, classes with us in the Honors College, and they're balancing their majors or their minors. It is very doable.
Thank you. And in terms on average, common question, how many freshman students are in the Honors College if you were to kind of give an estimate?
Sure. Yeah. So I like my bio introduced me that Candace introduced me with earlier. The Honors College is only in its second year. We're ending our second year soon. So when you all come to us in the fall, that'll be the start of the third. And so for the last two classes in our existence, I've welcomed about 150 to 160 freshmen. Um, I'm hoping that we might exceed that number this fall. I'm anticipating it. We're prepared for it, but that's been on average the number of students coming into the Honors College as freshmen.
Perfect. And students want to know, let's say, they go through their first year. Is it possible to join the Honors College in their second year?
Yeah, it is possible. I have several students who wanted to get acclimated to USF and get their bearings and adjust to college life, and they applied as sophomores. I usually, for those of you that have asked or inquired, like, hey, I didn't get invited, I want to apply. I'm always encouraging you to think about it within your first two semesters, but by no means does that mean you can't apply in the beginning of your sophomore year. We, again, will take a good look at how much time you have left and how many credits, and if your schedule allows, we can certainly look through all of that.
Thank you. And then one of my last questions is what's the credit requirement per semester to maintain status in being an honors college?
Oh, yeah. So students don't have to have an honors college class on their schedule every single semester. That's a big general rule. So it doesn't mean you'll get kicked out if you don't have one honors college class on your schedule every semester. On average, I know our students take 16 units because we're on a 4-credit system at USF. But a little hint that I always like to give to students before they register is on average, we're 16 credit loads. That's a 4 course load, but your tuition and your scholarship and financial aid is actually paying for 18 units. And so I always encourage my honors college students to take some of our 2-unit seminars in the honors college to boost their load up to 18 units if the semester will allow. Some semesters are going to be heavier or stressful, due to your major and minor requirements. But if your time and schedule allows, I always encourage students to make the most of that credit load by inserting 2 more credits and getting that full 18 units. Get your time and money's worth out of USF and the Honors College. But it's the same at USF, to maintain your financial aid and be enrolled as a full-time student. I believe is that 12 credits, Candace?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it is. So, there's really no difference, but on average, I see students take 16 to 18 credit loads.
Thank you. And then I know so a lot of students are interested in the study abroad opportunities. Where are some places that students have gone in, previously?
Previously, yeah. So again, we're a little young in the Honors College, but I've heard some of our upperclassmen who kind of joined late talk about their experiences. So I actually had a second-year student. She was in South Korea, and she was in South Korea in the fall. She participated in our Thailand trip last May. And then she went to South Korea in the fall and had every intention of being there for the full academic year. Unfortunately, she had to come back early this spring due to COVID-19, but she's safe and healthy. And I know she enjoyed her time over there in the fall. I've had students go to Italy. I've had students go to Paris. I've had students go to South America, whether it was Colombia, Argentina. I've had students go, just about anywhere that our study abroad catalog will allow. One student last year, of course, I'm losing track of which semester it was, but she did some field work. She did like a field work study abroad program where she was a little bit more, less classroom time and a little bit more hands-on. she did a program in Morocco. So, I mean, the options are endless, really, where you could study abroad. And we want you to have that experience.
Well, thank you. I think that's all the time that we have for questions today. I know you gave your contact information earlier for them to contact you with any additional questions that they may have. And yeah, I think that concludes our presentation.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for attending. And yes, feel free to reach out via email or phone.
Thank you. And you're getting a lot of thank yous in the chat.
Awesome. Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
I lost my mouse. Oh, there we go.